Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to talk about something most of us do, but honestly, not that well. Taking notes. We're going to explore a system that can turn those notes from a messy chore into probably the most powerful tool you have for learning.
Let's be real for a second. Have you ever done this? You're in a lecture or a meeting just furiously scribbling away, trying to get everything down. But then you look back at those notes, maybe a week later, and it's just gibberish. It's a page full of words, but the actual meaning? Poof, gone.
So how do we fix this whole mess? Well, the core idea here is that great note-taking isn't just one skill, it's actually two. First, you've got to have efficient capture. That's all about getting the right information down on the page. And second, you need useful organization, structuring those notes so your future self can actually find, understand, and use them.
Okay, let's dive into the system. And here's the thing that might surprise you. The best, most effective note-taking doesn't start when you put pen to paper. Nope, it actually starts before you even write a single word. It all begins with preparation. This prep work comes down to two super simple but really powerful steps. First up, know your goal. Seriously, ask yourself, why am I taking these notes? Is it to pass a test? Is it to understand a big picture concept? Or am I trying to come up with new ideas? Your purpose is going to completely change how you listen and what you write down. Then step two, skim first. Look at the chapter headings, the presentation slides, the meeting agenda, whatever you've got. This primes your brain, kind of like building a mental scaffold to hang all the new information on.
All right, prep is done, you're ready to go. Now for the main event, the act of actually capturing the information. And you know, the biggest secret here is that there is no single perfect method. The goal is to build a toolkit so you can choose the right technique for the right job.
And here is that toolkit. If you're in a structured lecture, the Cornell method is fantastic. It gives you dedicated space for your notes, for cues, and for a summary. If you're working from a dense textbook, the classic outline method with its bullets and indentations is probably your best friend. Brainstorming a new project? A visual mind map is the way to go. It helps you see all the connections. And if you just need to stay focused and engaged, Flow Notes, where you're just connecting ideas with arrows as they come, is an absolute game changer.
But here's the golden rule, and this applies no matter which method you choose. Your goal is not transcription. You are not a court stenographer. You are there to capture the core ideas, the key concepts. Write smart, not everything. So how do you do that? Well, here are three smart ways. First, be ruthless. Focus only on the main ideas. Second, develop your own personal shorthand, with symbols and abbreviations. And third, use color or highlighting to make keywords pop, so your notes are instantly scannable later on. But maybe the single most powerful technique is also the simplest. Paraphrase everything. Put it in your own words. The moment you translate an idea into your own language, you force your brain to actually process it and understand it. It's the switch that flips you from being a passive listener to a truly active learner. And you can push that engagement even further by turning your notes into a conversation with the material. Ask questions in the margin. Stuff like, why does this matter? And if something is unclear, don't just ignore it. Tag it with a big question mark so you know you have to come back to it. Okay, so you've captured the ideas. The lecture's over. But taking the notes, that's only half the battle. The real magic, the part where you actually make it all stick in your brain, happens after everything is done. And you are on a clock. Memory research is crystal clear on this. Our ability to recall new information just drops off a cliff after about a day. You have a golden 24-hour window to review your notes and lock that information in. If you wait longer, you're pretty much starting over from scratch.
So how do you make that review session really count? It's a three-step process. First, just review. Read through what you wrote. Then, summarize the key takeaways in a few sentences at the bottom of the page. And finally, and this is the key, test yourself. Cover up the page and try to recall the main points from memory. This technique is called active recall, and it's one of the most effective ways there is to build strong memories.
Finally, let's talk about the hardware. We've covered the how, but what about the what with? This is the classic debate, digital versus analog.
And this is a really fascinating trade-off. There's strong evidence that the physical act of writing with a pen and paper actually helps encode information into your memory more effectively. But let's be honest, digital tools are unbelievably powerful for searching, organizing, and linking your ideas together. But what if you didn't have to choose? Well, you don't. The hybrid method gives you the best of both worlds. You capture your notes by hand during the event, getting all those great memory benefits. Then, during your 24-hour review session, you transcribe and organize those notes digitally. This combines the raw power of handwriting from memory with the incredible organizational prowess of digital tools.
And this brings us to the ultimate takeaway. We need to stop thinking of note-taking as this passive act of just recording what's said. It is an active process of preparing, engaging, and consolidating. It's the difference between just hearing something and actually listening, because great notes aren't just taken, they are built.
So now it's over to you. Think about your own process. Of all these ideas, the prep work, the different capture methods, that 24-hour rule, what is the one technique you can try in your very next meeting or class? What's the first step you'll take to start building better notes?